What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to go over the Season 3 full reloaded patch notes. If you find the video helpful or informative at any point, don't forget to sub. I am going to be posting another video later today to go over this update, but let's get into it. So global, this is going to impact pretty much everything. Resolved an issue preventing the Wilson from running over enemies. The slash damage tracers in the dynamite blueprint will now be consistent. Improve visual effects when removing the barrel for the viral ignition blueprint. And here's some crazy stuff. It says progression, introducing weapon prestige camos. In Season 3 Reloaded, we're introducing weapon prestige camos, a new progression system for players to flex mastery of their favorite weaponry in MW3. To unlock a prestige master camo, players must earn a set amount of weapon XP for any weapon of choice, including those carried forward from MW2. Weapon prestige camos are earned on per weapon basis, rewarding commitment and giving those of completionists the grind to keep you busy as seasons to come. We haven't seen what they look like obviously in these patch notes, so I'll be showcasing that in the next video. Our debut weapon prestige camo is one trick, unlocked upon earning 150k weapon XP. This camo coats the entire surface of your weapon in molten gold, and yes, it is animated. You can expect to see a new weapon prestige camo in each of the remaining seasons ahead. We look forward to seeing which weapon you choose first on your journey to prestige. Once the update goes live, I'll show you guys exactly how that looks, but anyways, the UI increased the number of allowed favorite attachments from 10 to 30. Weekly challenges that reward an aftermarket part will now display the base weapon in the information model. Added locked and unlocked filter options to calling cards in the customization menu. They also did some bug fixes, which I'm not going to go through all that, but I'll just have the screenshot right here. Feel free to read that. Then we have the gameplay and hardpoint. Increased preference for spawns further from enemies to nearer to spawn points, recently used by a teammate. Bug fixes as well. And then the progression. They resolved an issue preventing the DG58 Miro barrel attachment from unlocking. Kills without reloading challenges will no longer continue to track between matches. The DM56 priceless camo description once again matches the tracking requirements, and they did some map updates. For 6-star, transparent glass doors in the security area have been swapped with opaque glass doors to better communicate the lack of penetrability. Added bullet collision to the DJ booth in the club to prevent unintended kills through walls. Reworked hardpoint capture point location sizes and associated spawns. Emergency added additional spawn points in TDM, domination, and hardpoint. Grow house polished environmental areas of the map where there are visual glitches and inconsistencies. Invasion added an additional spawn point. Karachi also did the same thing. And for the modes, infected limited time holiday variant of the mode icon is no longer used. And one in the chamber, radar pings are no longer active until 3 players are alive. Now here are the weapon balance changes, and we have a lot of them. The ARs, BP50. By the way, this is only for multiplayer. The BP50, increase hip fire spread minimum, increase hip fire spread maximum, and increase moving hip fire spread. The SVA 545 also did the same exact thing. And then for the RAM 7, increase hip fire spread minimum. The MTZ 556 increased the same exact. It looks like pretty much all the ARs right here that we're going through. So the MTZ, the Holger 556, the MCW, the DG, they all got a nerf to like the hip fire, I'm assuming. I'm not entirely sure why. And then for the FR 5.56, that looked like it got a massive change. So decrease sprint to fire time, decrease aim down sight time, increased aim down sight movement speed, increase the bullet velocity. That's for the base weapon. And then they started changing the attachment. So the 600mm FR removed hip fire spread, decrease hip fire spread. Same exact thing with the 435, remove movement speed penalties, remove hip fire spread penalties, increase recoil control benefit, added firing aiming stability, and then they just kept doing more things like that. It's just, the list goes on. I believe almost every single attachment that this weapon comes with ended up getting an update, and they pretty much, yeah, it has been completely reworked to increase their appeal and the overall viability of the weapon. So this is probably good news for those of you guys who want to try out the FR, but this is just a big screenshot of everything that they updated and fixed. Overall, just know that they probably buffed it. The next thing that we have is the Lockman 762. Increase maximum damage from 19.3 to 30.5, increase near mid damage range, and then increase the medium damage range. For the M13C, they did the same exact thing, so these two both got a buff. For the battle rifles, the SOA added near medium damage range and decrease minimum damage. For the MTZ 762, decrease aim down sight time. For the Jack Thunder LMG kit, decrease ADS sight time benefit. For the FTAC Recon fire type semi-auto, increase minimum damage. And then for the fire type full auto, increase upper torso, arm, and hand damage multipliers. And then they also gave the reasons for that. And then the SO14 fire type semi-auto did the same thing. They fully buffed that. And then fire type full auto, decrease sprint to fire, decrease aim down sight time. And then we jump into the SMGs. Ram 9, increase horizontal recoil, increase vertical, and decrease maximum damage. Pretty big nerf. And then the AMR 9, increase near medium damage, increase medium damage, increase minimum damage, and increase lower arm and hand multipliers. Small buff HRM9, increase medium damage range. WSP9, decrease sprint to fire time, and WSP Swarm, decrease maximum damage. For the shotguns, the KV broadside jawbreaker attachment removed aim down sight spread, decrease hip fire spread penalty, and the muzzle attachment can now be equipped. You then have the riveter, decrease the aim down sight spread by 10%, and then the 410 gauge ball ammunition, increase aim down sight speed, maximum damage, near medium damage, and the minimum damage. So that got a pretty big buff. Now the LMGs, the DG58, decrease horizontal recoil and vertical recoil, but they increase the minimum damage, torso, arm, and hand multiplier. And then the attack eradicator, decrease the sprint to fire time and aim down sight time. Holger 26, increase neck damage. Marksman rifle MTZ interceptor, decrease maximum damage range. And then for the snipers, the Moors, increase aim down sight time, decrease lower leg and foot damage multiplier. HVC anti-material slug, increase the bullet velocity. And for the handguns, they increase the movement speed of pretty much every single one of these. And yeah, you just see it right here. And then for the 9mm Damon, the Akimbo version, remove 10% movement speed penalty, decrease hip fire spread, minimum and maximum, remove 25% damage penalty, and increase lower torso, arm, and hand damage multipliers. It looks like almost all these weapons got reworked. And then the melee weapon, last one, decrease standing lunge distance to 1.3. For the perks, climbing boots, remove this perk and applied its effect to all players by default. All-terrain boots added a new perk to the boots category, replacing climbing boots, which significantly increased movement speed, disabling tac sprint. Running sneakers boots improve sprint to fire time while using tactical sprint. Stalker boots increase stray speed and is now omnidirectional rather than lateral, adding walking smoothness benefit, decreasing the bounciness of the reticle while aiming down sight. Commando gloves improve sprint to fire speed by 10%, added the ability to cancel a reload, and assault gloves improve the hip fire spread while moving by 15%. For the equipment, EMD grenade tracking devices are now destroyed by enemy EMP and DDoS effects, and decreased tracking device duration from 30 to 20. Field upgrade trophy system decreased the total number of shots fired from 3 to 2. And now we jump into zombies. The first one is the gameplay update. Stash storage has been increased, so up to 20 now instead of 10. Exfil based schematic cooldown. When players successfully exfil, they will now also receive schematic cooldown time in addition to their ensured weapon cooldown reward. And then for the patch notes, gameplay addressed an issue that would knock back containment levels by 1 tier when players exfil from a story mission, and addressed an issue that prevented equipment, lethals, and tacticals from saving when traveling to the Dark Ether Rift. And then for the allies, zombie hellhounds, friendly pet hellhounds acquired from a doghouse in medium and high threat zones will no longer reset their tier when entering and exiting Ether Storm. The customization, weapon blueprint, more situational hazard, black cell addressed an issue that prevented the desync dismemberment effect from always applying, and the UI, players can now interact with the containment level UI on the strike team ready menu. The containment level splash screen when a player exfils will now correctly display their containment level progression, and stability added various stability and crash updates, and that's pretty much everything for zombies. Now we jump into Warzone. The first thing we have are the adjusted features for all maps and all modes, ascender improvements, minor adjustments to the use range and angles for ascenders. This change primarily helps with circumstances where ascenders in elevators will not provide a prompt and certain angles and ranges. Elevator ascenders at elevator locations will now be easier to interact with. Rebirth Island high stakes public event. The high stakes crates now give a utility box instead of an ammo or armor box. The medicine cabinet, these containers will now drop 1 stim down from 2. Spy drone, reduce the drone count in a swarm to 7 down from 9. Substantially reduce spy drone health. Slightly lower spy drone's base altitude and shorten the minimum and maximum spy drone spawn distance from player. Biometric scanners reduce the animation time when interacting with it. For Yours Extend Warzone Bootcamp, the following items have been removed, which is going to be PDS, loadout drop marker, and loadout chest. And now we have, that's going to be the weapon balance adjustments. The very first one is going to be for the BP50, increase hip fire spread minimum, increase the hip fire spread maximum, as well as the moving hip fire spread. So in terms of hip fire, that's the only thing that got nerfed. And then the SVA 545, they did the same thing, hip fire spread minimum, the maximum, and and the moving hipfire has also been nerfed, and I believe they did this with the majority of ARs. As you see here, they did that with the MTZ 556, they did that with the Holger 556, but then the Ram 7, they did the same thing, but they added a little bit more. For example, max damage decreased to 28 down from 32, so that got a huge nerf, and near mid damage decreased to 26 down from 28, so that's probably no longer going to be meta. And then they did the same exact thing for those weapons that I talked about already. The MCW, the mid damage increased to 24 from 23 only by 1, and minimum damage increased to 20 up from 18. The maximum damage range has also been increased, and then they also increased the hipfire spread. And then the FR 5.56, the list is long. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but as I mentioned in the MW2 patch notes, this weapon got completely reworked. They mentioned many FR 5.56 attachments have been reworked to increase their appeal and the overall viability of the weapon. So all of these ended up getting buffed, so that way they're actually a part of the pool, and maybe some of these here will end up being good, but they pretty much just buffed them. And then the next thing that we have is going to be the M13B. Maximum damage increased to 24 from 23. Headshot modifier decreased. The upper torso modifier increased. Arm and hand modifier increased. Tempest Razorback near mid damage increased to 26 up from 22. That is a massive buff. The minimum damage increased to 22 up from 18. The FR Advancer near mid damage range increased to 22 up from 20. Mid damage increased to 20 up from 17. Minimum damage increased to 18 from 16. And then the battle rifles, the SOA Subverter, minimum damage decreased to 25 down from 28. Maximum damage range has been decreased to 20.5 meters from 22.86. The MTZ 762 decreased aim down sight time to 260 down from 280, and for the Jack Thunder Kid decreased the aim down sight time benefit by 20. SO14 fire type full auto decreased sprint to fire time and decreased aim down sight time. For the HRM9, now we're in the SMGs, maximum damage decreased to 28 down from 31. Near mid damage decreased down to 24. The mid damage decreased to 22, and the maximum damage range decreased to 10.41 from 11. The Ram 9 increased horizontal recoil and vertical recoil, so no damage changes. The Rival 9 max damage increased to 26 from 25. Max damage range increased to 12.19. Lower arm and hand modifiers increased, and lower torso modifier increased. The WSP 9 decreased sprint to fire time, and then the Striker minimum damage increased to 28 from 23. Mid damage increased to 35.56 meters from 30.48. So that means like the Striker 9 was one of the only ones that didn't get a nerf, and it was actually already pretty good. And then for these shotguns, the KV Broadside, Jawbreaker, removed the aim down sight spread. The Riveter decreased aim down sight spread by 10%. And for the Gauge Ball Ammunition, increased aim down sight spread. For the LMGs, the DG58 upper torso modifier increased, the arm and hand modifier increased, and lower torso modifier increased. Bruin MK9 maximum damage decreased to 26 from 28. Leg modifier decreased and lower torso decreased. I got a nerf. Decreased sprint to fire time, decreased aim down sight time. For the attack eradicated. For the snipers, decreased bullet velocity to 790 from 860 for the XRK Stalker. The Cat AMR decreased bullet velocity to 620 down from 660. The Moors increased aim down sight time to 580 from 560. Decreased bullet velocity to 900 from 960. And the Anti-Material Slug increased bullet velocity penalty by 20%, up from 15. Now for the handguns, they increased the movement speed of pretty much all of them. WSP Stinger got an extra change with upper torso modifier increase, and the X12 also got increased sprint speed. The 9mm Damon, the Akimbos look like they got reworked. Maximum damage increased to 24, near mid damage increased to 22, mid damage increased, minimum damage, maximum damage range. Everything has been increased. It looks like it got heavily buffed. And then for the loadout, it says Fortune's Keep Resurgence, Bunker Buster Killstreak, drop time reduced to 2 seconds down from 4, explosive maximum damage reduced to 275 down from 350, explosive minimum damage increased to 50 up from 25, explosive radius reduced to 512 down from 600, and gas radius increased to 8.9 from 6.5. A couple UI updates: rank play restrictions, updated menu to provide additional clarity for restricted weapons and rank play. Champions Quest, we've added a prompt to notify players who attempt to leave a match that a Champions Quest objective is in progress and available to intercept. Bunker Buster minimap improvement. Bunker Buster will now display a red circle on its landing location, and it will show a red circle for the duration of the damaging gas. End the match flow. After a match ends, players will be returned to the selected playlist mode rather than the playlist select menu. And perk description, additional information has been added to some perk descriptions. Bug fixes fix several issues, and these are all like the changes that they ended up doing. I'll have a screenshot, but this is everything you need to know. Expect another video to go up, which will be a little more enjoyable than this one, because this one we were just reading stuff, but the next one will have photos, videos, and just showcasing of the reloaded update. So look forward to that. But it's been a butcher. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys again.